What's good, everyone? Aggie Coach here. Welcome to the post-game show. I started out doing this post-game show in season 1, just kind of reflecting and talking about my experiences dealing with each game, and just kind of going back and doing a review and kind of a recap and giving you guys my thoughts and feelings on how solitaire games in the Fat 8, at least how they play, and kind of how things work. In this particular game, really caught me off guard. And I'm gonna tell you guys this, man. Like, whenever I play a game, I try as best I can to make sure that no one team has an advantage over another team. And in doing so, I don't allow myself to know what's going to happen. So I have a system in place where plays are called, run plays or pass plays are called at random. And I never know which one is going to be. And then the same thing defensively and offensively as well. I don't know what defensive scheme each team is going to set up in because I have it set up where I roll for it. So sometimes the defense might come out in a 34 when they really should be in a 43, you know, depending on like how the cards fall, right? In this particular case, just to kind of give you guys an idea, every team in the Fat 8 Conference has a base offense and a base defense, and they're all different. So, for example, what you guys notice with the Eagles is a 70% run team, 30% pass team. So when you play against the Eagles, you're playing against a team that is set up to run the ball. And as you guys saw, the Eagles are really good at running the ball. And so it takes a special team to stop a rushing attack like the Eagles have in particular, where the Eagles have 2 running backs in Billerman, who is their power guy, and then Scruggs, who is their speed guy. And it takes a special outside linebacker to be able to keep up with the speed that those guys are bringing, because once they break into the secondary, it's 6. It's done. Like, especially Scruggs, like once Scruggs get through the second level, you can forget about it. You're not running them down and you're not bringing them down. You're not going to catch them. So you have that kind of guy. And then you have Billerman on the other side, on the other hand, who is their power guy. He's not as fast as Scruggs is, but as you saw here in the game, in those clutch situations where, you know, you're in the red zone and you need to get in the end zone and he's got a lead blocker, he's going to just bulldozer you. He's going to just run over you. And if you don't have the correct angle to bring him down, it's very, very difficult to stop him, which leads me to tackling. And I've gone through the rules, so I don't really want to talk about the rules too much. But like, as you guys understand, it's front of base tackling. And so the way that we do it is the front of the base and the front corner. And in that case there at the end of the game, I thought it was really interesting because at the angle that I had, it really looked like he was tackled around the 2-yard line. And then when I went back and looked at it, because of the way that the player is actually customized at that angle, because of the way that that player is created, let me show you guys here. As you can see, it looks like this is his front. You see what I'm saying? But actually, this is his front. You see what I mean? So it really, so when I'm looking at it on camera, it looked like this. So it was like, okay, he's tackled right there. But then when we went back and looked at it, Billerman's body was like right here on the side of his base, but this gave it the appearance that it was the front of the base. And so that kind of created an illusion that he was down. And thankfully, I didn't stop rolling the tape. But okay, so that's, you know, just some of the things. So, all right, so now let's get into the teams. So I want to start with Tuskegee. This is the first time that I've played with Tuskegee, and it usually takes me some time to get used to the kind of character each team has. And the reason that I say that is because when I develop a team around the offense and defensive generator that I use. So basically, I've created an offense and a defensive generator. And basically what I do is at the beginning of the season, I roll on the generator to see what offensive style and defensive style that team is going to play. And in this particular case, the Tuskegee team is a 43 base defense, right? They're a 43 base defense. And then offensively, they are a split T offense, right? The problem though that they had in this particular game was their offensive line just could not handle the kind of power that the Eagles brought to the table. And that was something that I did not see coming, because when I tweak these teams, I don't tweak these teams against each other, right? And because of our APW system, our actual player weight, you don't know what kind of player you're going to be up against. So, like, you can have an offensive lineman that's 5.5 grams going up against a 7-gram offensive lineman, defensive lineman, and vice versa. Like, you just don't know. And every team is different. Every player on every team has a different weight. There are no players on any of the 32 teams that we have. There are no players on any team with the same weight. And they're all different. Like, there's completely unexpected things is going to happen, and those are things that you just really can't account for. And I did that to keep me honest, because like in real football, you don't have players on the field at the same time all with the same weight. So I try to kind of bring that to the game, and that gives me that unknown anomaly. So like, you can't really show favoritism from one team to the next. So I don't put the team side by side when I'm doing this. So I have no idea what the matchups are going to be like. So over the course of this game, I found myself with Tuskegee especially trying to find out how to match them up against the Eagles, because it seemed that, like, the Eagles have so many weapons on that team. It was very difficult to find the right matchups. And what I found was the Eagles front seven defensively, especially level 1 and level 2, was so fast and so strong. They closed the gaps quick. As you guys saw in the game, Tuskegee could not run the ball against this team. And the biggest thing was, like, they kept the middle linebackers was filling the A gap, was filling the B gap. Like, they were filling the gap so quick. The holes was closing before the running backs could get into the holes. They couldn't establish the run game. And that was a huge, huge, huge problem. And as I'm playing, like, I really don't have any control, because I have to roll to see what kind of play is coming up. And I'm like, oh my God, it's another run play. All right, what's going to happen here? Right? And I mean, you just don't know. And defensively, the Eagles just dominated the trenches defensively and just made it extremely difficult for Tuskegee to get anything going. And it ended up forcing Tuskegee to pass the ball. And then the other thing that the Eagles do really good is they run man zone. So that's the other thing. Like, one of the things that kept happening to me in the game, like, whenever I'm trying to figure out what defense they're going to run, it turns out every time the Eagles run man zone on either side of the field, they are covering the field, which leads me to, my very first game on this true scale field was really enjoyable. The one thing about it that I liked was how real football strategy, how I'm really able to use real football strategy in football, for example. And I don't mean that in terms of one-on-one matchups, right? I mean that in terms of the way that actual football strategy works in real live football, in college football, and in professional football. Coaches play to their field strength. So in this particular case, being able to have the ball on the hashes now, being able to run the ball, having strong side being the short side of the field sometimes, play side being the short side of the field sometimes, play side sometimes being the wide side of the field, and then how good a team adapts to those kinds of situations where I can use the field against you. Right, and this is some of the things this is what you see in real football. When I know that the right side of my line is strong, right, and I have a short side of the field, I can spread you out and I can exploit those holes. I can exploit those weaknesses. I can put the ball in the flat, knowing that I have that side of the field where I'm going to have a good blocking edge on that side of the field, and the team can't capitalize on it. Those kinds of things made this scale field really exciting because one of the things that was obvious throughout this whole game, if you guys go back and watch all the quarters back to back, one of the things that was very obvious in this game was that the Eagles had a speed advantage on Tuskegee. They also had a strength advantage on Tuskegee. And that doesn't necessarily mean that Tuskegee can't beat the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that. It just meant that Tuskegee has some tough breaks. Like right there in the fourth quarter, that holding call on the right tackle. That holding call was huge. I mean, it was huge. Like that was painful. That was David Norris on that side of the field holding the defensive end. That took away the first down. Like that was a momentum change right there, and it just completely deflated them. And then the bonehead pass, like, God, I don't even know how I did that. Like, I thought for sure that I had that guy. I had him pegged, and I was like, okay, at the very least, it's gonna be 4th down and 2. I really thought that was a gimme. I was like, okay, at the very least, it's gonna be 4th and 2. And then, and then I look over at the clock, and I'm like, shoot, I got 3 minutes. It was about 3 minutes and 43 seconds on the clock at that time. And I was like, okay, we can get the ball down the field, try to get the ball in the end zone, hopefully get the ball back, and boom, there's an interception. And I really didn't see that coming. The coverage, it was risky. It was a risky throw anyway, because the coverage on that play was so good. And that goes back to what I was saying, like, this Eagles team is a zone team. So, like, defensively, they're really good at zone coverage. Really good at it. And one of the things that I like to do with them, because the Eagles have speed, one of the things I like to do with them is bring the linebackers up in the gap. And sometimes I'll flip the base around, right? So when you playing, like, you really don't know that linebacker, it looks like he's going to blitz, but that linebacker is going to drop back in the zone and just completely take your passing lane away. And the one thing I like about the Toe Pro quarterbacks is the Toe Pro quarterbacks, like, adding them added a whole nother layer of complexity to the game, because now, even though I have a team that's really good at running zone, I can throw the ball over top of that umbrella and make those throws. So I'm excited because the Eagles on their schedule, I don't know if y'all remember this. If you guys ain't seen this, you need to go and watch Jackson State play. Y'all need to watch, I'm telling y'all, need to go watch Jackson State play, because Jackson State wide receivers is beast, right? And so the Eagles, down the road, the Eagles have, I think it's like game 5 for the Eagles. The Eagles play Jackson State. That's going to be a good game. And they're going to be playing Jackson State at Jackson State. So that's going to be a really, really good game. And Jackson State bring a nasty pass attack. So I can't wait to see when the Eagles have to play against a team like that has a speed advantage on them, how that's going to play out. Tuskegee in for a tough season. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. They in for a tough season right now. I try to prepare Tuskegee for this game. And I mean, when I create the schedules too, I don't even think about like how it's going to play out. Like, I randomly create the schedules, right? And like each team going to play 8 games, man. They're going to play 8 games here in season 4. And Tuskegee, man, they in for it. Like, if they don't get it together, if they don't play better, and this is the other thing, it's going to take me some time to get used to. Like I said, this is my first time playing with this Tuskegee team, so I don't really know the athletes that well just yet. Whereas, the Eagles, I've been playing with them for 2 seasons. So I know that team well. And even when a play comes up that I ain't ever used before, I know the personnel so well, I'm able to make sure that, that it really doesn't matter. Like, they gonna make some plays. Whereas this Tuskegee team, I'm still learning this team. So I think Tuskegee gonna be okay. The main thing with Tuskegee right now is they are losing up front. Like, they're losing at the line of scrimmage. That's huge. At the line of scrimmage. You can't make plays at the line of scrimmage. They just got bullied all game long. And don't get me wrong, they made some good plays. Like, offensively, Tuskegee, like, they can throw the ball. They got a decent pass attack. They can throw the ball. Their defense was horrible. Like, and that's the thing. Like, the defense was unable to stop anything that the Eagles did all game long. And if the defense can't get better, they're going to struggle all year. And especially the next 3 games that Tuskegee got. They got some tough teams to play. They got the Aggies that they're going to be playing, and the Aggies team is crazy. They got to play the Aggies. They're going to be playing Michigan. That's another team that's going to wax them if they don't. If that defensive line, like if Tuskegee's defensive line can hold the line a little better, they're going to be all right. They also need to get a little more speed. I need to work on tweaking them outside linebackers. They need to get a little more speed so they can have better containment. Their containment isn't that good right now. They let too many plays. And as you guys saw, how the Eagles was just running sweeps on them all day long, right? The Eagles was just running sweep. Like, they can run sweep left, sweep right, and Tuskegee just couldn't stop it. So I'm at 15 minutes now, going on 16 minutes. So I'm gonna stop this right here because I'll just keep going on and on, and I don't want to hold you guys for 20 minutes going over this. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys my thoughts on this whole thing. I was impressed with the Eagles' offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line is absolutely incredible, and the Tuskegee team, they just wasn't ready for this game, and it's going to take me some time to practice with them. I'm going to probably spend the next few days practicing with them. At the same time, I'm still doing the Georgia Bulldogs team. I got to get them finished. I'm going to just spend some time working with this Tuskegee team and just trying to learn the team a little better. I need to tweak them a little more and try to get some more speed out of this team because they need more speed because they really cannot keep up with this Eagles team. And there's a few more teams like in the Fat 8 Conference. There's a mixture of teams. They're balanced teams, they're speed teams, they're power teams, they're teams that's got both. You just don't know what you're going to get. Like I can tell you right now, the Michigan team that you guys are going to see, oh my God, that Michigan team is blazing fast. So that's going to be a whole nother thing that's going to be really interesting to see. Like, that team can beat you to the corner and turn it up in a 6. So we're going to see how it go. Right now, Tuskegee got a lot of work to do. They got 7 more games to go. Hopefully, they will not go 0-8. We're going to see if they can get some wins in. The Eagles right now, off to the races with a big win on the road. So the Eagles next game, they will be returning back home. So we're going to see how it plays. I'm going to stop it here because I am going on and on and on. I hope you guys are still here listening. If I bored you guys, sorry, I'm having fun. So I'm going to stop it here, man. So that was just my 2 cents on this game. In the end, the Eagles pulled it out 36-17. Mostly a running team. We knew that. The commentators told you guys that Scruggs was going to be the man. And Scruggs proved to be the man. He is the man. It's going to take a tough team. It's going to take that Alabama, that Tide to stop Scruggs. He gonna struggle when they play Alabama. I'm going to tell y'all that now. So, let's get it in, man. Thank you guys for listening to me go on and on and on. I'm having fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. I hope you guys... If you can, go back and watch the game from front to back. You'll see what I'm saying. There was some mistakes. We have penalties in this rule system. The Fat 8 rule system, we got penalties, man. And, penalties can hurt you. And that's how it is in real football, too. You can have momentum going your way. Boom, penalty, deflate your tire. And that's it. So, how do you bounce back from that? Tuskegee was unable to bounce back from the momentum change. It hurt them. It put a hole in their sail. The Eagles ran away with it. The Eagles got the win. So, holla at y'all later. 20 minutes into this video. I'm going to stop it now. Comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Don't forget, hit that like button on the way out. I'm going to holla at you. Peace.